So hey folks, welcome back to the another podcast with me right now. I have Amrit, one of my hackathon friend, you can say specifically, but it's very close to me regarding when we're talking about the startup ideas and implementation on the product specifically. So yeah, Amrit, can you give a small intro? Like I am a very bad in introduction, but yeah, if you can go on an introduction. Yeah.
So, hey everyone, my name is Amrit Sharma. I'm 22 years old. I was born in Dubai, but I'm an Indian citizen. So, I was born in Dubai, lived there for 19 years, then moved to the US for my bachelor's. So, I'm currently studying in the US at Kent State University in Ohio. I'm a senior, which means it's fourth year in India, and I'm doing my major in computer science and my minor in entrepreneurship. But apart from that, I'm a builder. I love to build a lot of products, and that's why I met Karthikeya, the amazing guy. And yeah, that's a brief introduction about me.
Great, Amrit. I'm seeing your work, and let's talk about your project specifically. Um,
Yep.
yeah, Flashmates, Tulu. Just start with the Flashmate. Why it came into the play of the you can the concept build like Flashmates kind of thing, and yeah,
Yep.
let's get started with that. Yep.
Sure. So Flashmates is basically an app through which students can find off-campus housing. And before we get into what it is, let me first talk about the problem because I think people need to understand the problem, why it exists, and why it exists. So a problem that many students face when they go to a new city is that, like, if let's say if you're moving, I think in India, if you move from India to the US to a new city, you have no clue what the place is like, where to stay, because housing is important. That's what you find first. But you have no clue about the housing because you go through Google, you go to WhatsApp, and there's not much you'll find because you enter your budget, and like many people, it takes a very long process for them, and when they move there, they find another place and they're like, oh shit, I should move over there.
Hmm.
So basically, I built an app through which students can basically enter the budget. Like you can enter it preference. Like this is my budget. This is the type of housing I want. It should be within this walking distance. All these facilities should be available, and based on that, it shows you all the listings. And also the current existing platforms out there. Like the problem that they have is that they're not that secure because literally anyone
Hmm.
can create an account. They can post a fake listing, and you never know what can happen. Which
Yep.
means it's the security problems and it's vulnerable. Second is that you have to pay a premium fee, like 99
Yeah.
cents a dollar. Still, even if you pay it, there's no guarantee that you can actually find a listing. Like,
Hmm.
our platform is completely free. You don't have to pay anything. It's secure. Only you have to enter using your .edu account.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's what it is, Flashmates. And the reason why the name is Flashmates is because Kent State students are called Golden Flashes. Like we have names for students here in the US. So
Yeah.
Kent State students are called Golden Flashes and Flashmates because roommates. So Golden
Yeah.
Flashes, Flash, roommates, mates. So Flashmates.
Great. I also studying recently Oyo, and I think so. Rishit Agarwal, who is a founder of Oyo Rooms. He also set up the whole thing. So like, suppose if you are just you scalable that project into a maybe a startup maybe. So if I'm just talking about maybe as an entrepreneur and okay, so how you can deal with the like Oyo is also spreading over that. I'm just talking about as an entrepreneur. What do you think like that? Just assume you are scalable your product or like your project specifically in a very bigger end, so how you tackle that thing? Yeah.
So there's this thing called blitzscaling by this person called Reid Hoffman. He's the founder of LinkedIn.
Hmm.
He has this
Yeah.
concept called like blitzscaling is all about valuing efficiency over time. He's like,
Hmm.
forget everything, forget the year funding, just go keep on building, keep on launching, and try to get
Yep.
more users because the more users you have, it's a validation for your product, and like based on that, you can get a lot of funding. Because there's a story where he was talking about the Airbnb. I'm not
Yep.
sure how it actually goes. It's been a while since I read the book, but it's a very good book. I highly recommend it. So in
Yep.
that, the Airbnb stories are like when they launched in 2012, they were only available in select cities in the US. And there was
Hmm.
this a group of brothers, forgot the name, but they were in Italy, and they're known for copying American products and launching in Europe. So
Yep.
they copied Airbnb. They launched in 200 cities,
Yeah.
and they were much bigger than Airbnb. And they reached to a point where they're like, Airbnb, we're coming, we're going to buy you, we own you. And they were scared because it was just a start. They're like, they copied us and they're bigger than us, they have more funding. That's not fair. It's
Yeah.
like, just go for it, just keep on launching. And I'm not sure what exactly happened, but at the end, they did some, thanks to blitzscaling, in like 10 years, it was the exact opposite. Airbnb ended up being much bigger than them and kicking them out from the market.
Yeah.
So it's all about like value efficiency over time, as in
Yep.
on building, keep on launching more products, don't try to focus on the competition. Focus on like how you can grow, because that's more important. Because competitors exist. So when it comes to OA rooms, one thing what I like that it was like apparently Ritesh Agarwal, when he did not go to college or he dropped out because
Yep.
he was a tier fellow, and in tier fellow you have to
Yeah.
basically drop out, get $100,000, and like not go to school for 2 years. This
Yep.
guy went to every hotel. I'm not sure the city name in India. It's a very complicated name to say. But
Yeah.
he's from a very small town, and the hotels over there were not doing good. He went to literally each one of them, so
Yeah.
that I can make a hotel better. I can list them on my platform.
Yeah.
They the strike the deal, a partnership, and he ended up doing like for city, expanded, and yeah, that's how it worked out. So I think for Flashmates it's the same thing. Launch in Kent State. If it goes good, if you have
Yeah.
users, no universities, and we
Yep.
don't have to like, pay a funding or payment because it doesn't cost anything to launch. If it's a software, you just
Yep.
launch. That's it.
Great. You also made the product Tulu. I will say it's like a product for me, like specifically
That's what
Tulu.
it is.
Yeah. So like why the came your motivation came into play, and again I'm saying because it's like a machine learning stuff. But yeah, let me
Yep.
talk with other thing. But like, what's the motivation behind Tulu?
Yep, sure. So basically, Tulu is a language which is like very rare and very ancient, because like many people don't know about it in India because it's not
Hmm.
official, does not have status. So it's most spoken by people in coastal Karnataka, especially Udupi, Mangalore, and this place called Kasaragod in Kerala. People
Yep.
from these three districts speak the language majority, like the majority speakers often there. So the problem is that if you go to Google and if you want to translate Tulu, you won't find it. If you want to translate on Bing, you won't find none of the translators have that thing. So for a young
Yep.
person like me, especially who's living in America and not much people speak Tulu with, it's hard for me to basically learn my own language because translator support is not there. There's no like proper
Hmm.
dictionary.
Yep.
So that freaked me out. Like that's sad because our language is endangered and it's believed within the next 50 years it might go extinct if people like don't probably take care of it. So I
Yep.
decided like we need to learn translator. So I started working on it, and also one of the reasons why I also built it was because I can learn machine learning, because
Yep.
this is a very complicated project. Building a translator is very hard. It's complicated,
Yep.
and if you and the best way to learn something is to work on something hard. That's what I believe. So
Yep.
yeah, as of now, we have launched. Yeah, I mean not probably launched, but we have launched a beta. It's an open beta, which means anyone can access it. And from the response that we get from them, we're gonna build a data set of our own because there's no data set.
Yep.
The first thing I tried to find was a data set. There
Yep.
is no data set, and that is the most challenging part because for machine learning model you need a data set. So
Yep.
we're building one from scratch, and this is my first machine learning project because I'm not a machine learning fan because there's too many formulas. There's like hopefully I'll
Gotcha.
be
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Cool. Already. All again, folks, those who are listening to us, all the links are in the description. You can check them out. And I think so. Tulu is like an open source project, is it?
it is open source.
Great. So like if folks, if you want to contribute in that, and if you think any bug kind of thing, if you want to fix that bug, it's open source, you can do that stuff. And already everyone know I'm a big fan of open source. So yeah, so you can do that stuff. Okay. Cool. Now let's came into the main. Maybe I know you said earlier before they're like starting with the podcast, you are not you're a little bit in crypto, but like I will try to maybe expand that over it. What do you think?
Sure.
Crypto came into like maybe I am not have a knowledge about it, but about 20-30 years back, maybe, or it's bigger than it. I didn't know about much over crypto. But what do you think? Comparison between when I'm talking about India and other countries, because in India, government is saying it is totally decentralized. So we didn't know how the transaction is working. Even the concept of blockchain is like it is totally secure. Many people are commenting it's not secure, even though it's decentralized, but it's not. What are your thoughts over it? And can India can come up with the crypto maybe, or like crypto is like a bigger space because many of the people are talking about crypto right now. So what are your thoughts over it?
Yeah. When it comes to crypto in India, I just want to say one thing. India is a place where more majority of the crypto innovation is happening right now. Because if you take a look,
Hmm.
Solana, there's a blockchain called Solana. They had hackathons
Yep.
primarily focused only on India. There was this ETH India, like a lot of the big innovations are happening there. In fact, like I actually attended a crypto hackathon, ETH Boston. It was at Harvard University. That was the first time I
Yeah.
went to some big place. I was like, that was so cool. But I mostly went for
Yeah.
the hackathon. And the sponsors over there were like, it was probably one of the biggest crypto hackathons, but the sponsors were all companies from India, like crypto companies from India. There was a company called Instagram, and they were founded by like people,
Yeah.
they were literally our age, they're like 18, 19 years old. They
Yeah.
founded probably one of the biggest companies like Instagram. It's, I mean, I'm not sure about how big they are, but it's a very like, it's an important company in this space because their
Yep.
technology is used for a lot of applications. There's this one more thing called Polygon
Yeah.
by
Sandeep.
I'm
Sandeep
Sandeep
Nailwal.
and
Yeah.
Sandeep Agarwal and Jayanti Kanani. Like
Yeah.
that's also one of the, probably the a very important crypto like protocol in the space. So
Yeah.
India is actually an important country for crypto. Like Silicon Valley built the internet. I think India's building crypto. And when
Yeah.
it comes to like rules and regulations, I'm not sure how they work. But as of now, I think the Indian government is very supportive of the like the current crypto ecosystem because I mentioned that they have
Yep.
been rolling out a lot of like important announcements in favor of crypto. And like even if you see in India, like NFTs, non-fungible
Yep.
tokens, we have a lot of NFT artists come from India. We have a lot of Web3 applications coming from India. A lot
Yep.
of startups, crypto startups are hiring from India because so all in all, I would say that like this future, the crypto future is being built in India.
Great. Also, like what, like it's a crypto space you're talking about, like maybe in the future India be the maybe in the game player in the crypto end, but what do you think in a general end when we're talking about Silicon Valley maybe, or like in a different area? um because why I'm telling, because in this why I'm talking about a startup ecosystem is like that you have a concept of build school, which we can maybe in the historical and we can say, like I recently tweet about Gurukul system. Like we lost Gurukul system due to maybe British, due to Britishers only, because the mindset that we, you can social engineering kind of thing you can say on that end. So what do you think your concept of, first of all tell us about the everyone what is build school, and can
Yep.
it's like a maybe a Gurukul system that you're bringing on in a modern form? Yeah, Amrit.
So about Build School, it's basically an experiment. It's not something working on like devotedly. It's an experiment where so the current education system, the problem that's very theoretical, not much
Yep.
practical.
Yep.
And in the real world, if you want to build something or if you want to do something, you need theoretical. I mean, not you need practical skills, not theoretical.
Yep.
Theoretical is important, but not much. Like you need foundations,
Hmm.
you know it. That's great. But what can you
Yeah.
do with it? That's more important. So Build School, I
Yep.
basically want to build a like school through which you learn by actually building projects and let that be a
Hmm.
validation instead of grades, instead of your degree certificate. Let the
Yep.
projects be a validation of what you learned. Because if you
Yeah.
build a project, look, okay, you learn something from that. What do you learn?
Yeah.
You build something that provides a lot of value. So that's what I'm trying to do. And in Gurukul system, I think it's about like a mentor and like he has his proteges, right? That's how it works, right?
Yeah.
Mentor, mentees.
Yeah.
The same with Build School. It's like going to be a mentor assigned to a group or an individual person, and they
Yeah.
have like you can actually work on a project and like they'll help you out with it along the way.
Yeah.
It's just an experiment. There's not much been going on, but I
Yeah.
really want to like push it in the long run because I really feel this is going to be a game changer. Because in we have the Lambda school in Silicon Valley, but it's in
Okay.
India as well. Lambda school. We
Yeah.
have a bunch of like there's this thing called CVCs, cohort based courses. They're also being rolling out like Straw School in India.
Yeah.
So trying to like
Okay, so like actually, I just listening one of the podcasts. I think so with Allah, Ranveer Alavadia and I think so Abhijit Chavda. So Abhijit Chavda is like he's an scientist, but he's also an historian. Maybe he's just reading the books over that. So he's just sharing that uh, temples when we're talking about in the south. He's just sharing a like a code kind of thing, and didn't remember the code exactly. But he's saying if there is no temple in your village, then don't go there specifically, because temple is like a like there is a prayer for there, like we pray, go to the temple for pray, but it's also an education institution. If we are comparing our class 1 to maybe class 10th in India, that is a Gurukul system, and apart when after you pass 10th, then you go to the higher university, that is Nalanda, Takshashila, the olden university in India. So like what do you think? We obviously British abolish our education system in order to social manipulate us, or like a social engineering kind of stuff. But what do you think, can we bring Gurukul system back? Because the scene is that we are just mentally so much assault, like we are only here to just do job work under, we didn't rule the rules specifically over that. It just came into the a very aspect out of it. I didn't go there, but what do you think, can if you say if you want to bring a modern Gurukul system back to the country, or like maybe in the world specifically also, in a general term I'm asking, uh, what what the step you will start, or like as a startup also, if you are starting a Gurukul startup specifically, you can say in education space. So what do you think, can edutech startup can be a part of it? But because recently edutech startup is also getting so much hate over it, so like what are your thoughts over it? Yeah.
So I think in order for someone to basically create a modern Gurukul, this is a person called Balaji Srinivasan,
Yeah.
a very famous angel investor, a crypto. He's also crypto, like he's a very big person on crypto. He
Yeah.
spoke about like how to build a country. I think the same goes about how to build a Gurukul. Start an
Yeah.
online community, like bring a bunch of people on online, because literally the young people of India, they're on social media. They're doing a lot of. They literally spend most of the time on the phone.
Yeah.
So take out the phone, start a community, bring a bunch of people together,
Yeah.
get someone who's experienced, get someone who's like who knows a lot, make him the mentor, make him or her the mentor. And
Yep.
I think that's how a Gurukul would work, a modern Gurukul, because but I'm pretty sure it won't be an actual Gurukul. It's gonna be like
Yeah.
way too advanced, like way too modern.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's how it would work. Start a community, get someone experienced, make that person like a mentor, and like
Yeah.
you people are mentors, and like start doing weekly meetups. And a great platform to literally build a community right now is Discord. Like
Yep.
when
Yeah.
in build school is on Discord, because like that's a place where you can literally build a proper community. So
Yep.
and Gurukul, like back then I heard like I'm not much sure about how Gurukul used to work, but I heard like it
Yeah.
was much different from the traditional education system, because there was
Yep.
people were doing great under it.
Yep.
But yeah, unfortunately, it's not there. I hope it did exist, because I really want to see how it worked. But
Yeah. Okay. Because like what your thoughts can be like, we are saying school and colleges, but like I'm just listening to that podcast only. The Abhijit Chawla is saying that maybe in some of the years, maybe college and school will not be maybe there, because the whole COVID fast forwarded everything, you can say. So like degrees doesn't matter, even though in Indian degree do value matters right now here, but maybe in some couple of time, maybe it can be a chance of to remove the degree kind of thing. And maybe the whole, so like I'm been a part of community, been a lover of community. What you seen like open community can bring a change to kind like that, maybe because
it can.
also, because like seen is that also, I'm just want to add one more question over that, because virtual space is good, but it also create the mental health issues also. People are very maybe, so like what are your thoughts, because we have to maintain, because in the when we're talking about the ancient Gurukul system, everyone came into the place and they are studying over that. And also virtual space is very good, those people who didn't get access to over, if they have access to internet and a proper hardware phone, maybe they can get a immense amount of knowledge. But also virtual space creating a mental health issue. So what are your thoughts over that? Yeah.
Yeah. So about the schooling, I want to talk about one thing over there. One reason why I feel schools and universities might not exist in the future, like especially in India. I mean, as in like people might not prefer to go there, because schools and universities in India, they literally uh, li- support competition between students. They have this ranking they
Hmm.
put out, like first
Yeah.
rank, second rank. Literally, many students compete for that. So
Hmm.
what it's creating the process is like some sort of selfishness, greediness, or something like that. Because when you compete, you literally don't care about the others. You're like, I have to get in front. So I think this is destroying the student. This is partially destroying the system as well, because you're supposed to like enhance, like you're supposed to support collaboration, not competition.
Yep.
Students need to learn how to work together. They need to like, and then it's
Yeah.
like, so that's one big major flaw I see in the system. Because if literally telling students like aim for the first rank, literally
Yeah.
it's like a race. That's not how it's supposed to work. Every student should be focused on their own stuff, like.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. And the second thing I want to talk about, like the mental health, it
Yeah.
takes a toll on your mental health, because a lot of students, like especially JEE, the I think that's the
Yeah.
exam, like
Yep.
IITs. Many students, when they don't make it through JEE, when they don't get the cut,
Yeah.
they go into depression, because there are
Yep.
many cases where students have gone into
Yeah.
depression. Some students have attempted like suicide, as per like the statistics over there.
Yep.
So we need to change the system, like as in like a degree, and that's not entire thing. Many other things in life. So
Yep.
when it comes to virtual spaces, like there's this thing called the pseudonymous identity, where you can actually change your identity, come online.
Yep.
So while it's great, a problem with virtual space is that it can be a platform where um, cyberbullying can happen, because
Yep.
cyberbullying is a very big problem during 2020, because everyone was on Zoom, everyone was on
Yep.
Discord.
Yeah.
Bullies made the world, and that was literally not a good thing for many young people. So I
Yeah.
feel in order to create a good community, we need to first make sure the mental health of people are doing great, because you cannot run a community where your people coming in sad, depressed. Like,
Yeah.
take care of the needs of your community members. That's very important. In
Yep.
schools, like right now, one good thing happening in certain schools in India is that they have counselors who
Yeah.
basically check on the students, like how they're doing. So I think that's something good. But at the same time, we should, I think it's more of a mindset rather than the thing.
Hmm.
But one thing school should tell them is that it's okay, don't focus on the competition, just try to do good on your own. That's, I think that's more important, because while the system is that, they should also help students with their mental health.
Cool, cool. There is one more thing came into my mind, Amrit. Like we talk about more on the education sector, but people are very like because as I studied in something about related to that only, that we in temples when the whole Gurukul system is working on, so only us, no one able to give any fees. Only the, you can say, the ruler of that particular district or a kind of thing, or like a particular state is giving to that like a fees to that, maybe a Gurukul, the whole system. But now the whole thing is changed, maybe due to like, maybe you can say everyone is posing like about 1 lakh 2 lakh rupees for just taking a coaching of JE. It's very big in India when we're talking about that. So what do you think? Also, that's why the edutech startup in India has got a very hate also. Like recently, many people starting the free resources for that, because where everyone is saying why hell you are said to your edtech startup, even though you are not reducing the cost, and everyone is not rich, or like like kind of to handle that total, you can say, lump sum of money. So what do you think, what you can say, according to you, what are the points that an edutech startup, if any person who is listening to us who want to start an edutech startup, has to keep this in mind in order to start any edutech startup, according to you?
I'm not an expert, but I'm gonna give some things that I know, because I think it was 2020 or 2021. There was a company, I'm not gonna share the name, but they
Yeah.
claimed if you're a 6-year-old, you can become this Wolf Gupta and earn a $1.2 million package by the age of 13 at Google. Again, I'm
Yeah.
not saying the name,
Yeah.
but if you're an edtech company, never ever basically give that ad saying that this is going to happen to you like 6 or like 10 years, because that's literally not the
Yep.
case.
Yep.
And also, they were charging a lot of money for teaching kids coding when they can actually learn it online on their own.
Yeah.
So one thing is that try to focus on niche as in like there's certain things people want to know about, but
Yeah.
they're unable to. So I think that's very important. This thing, this concept called CVCs, which is basically code based courses, I believe,
Yeah.
code based classes, or it's like that. It's like you're in a cohort and you learn together.
Yeah.
So that's one good place to target. And as I mentioned earlier, build a community. That's very important. Like Discord,
Yep.
Reddit, get people on board, get people
Yeah.
together, start learning something on your own. But edutech startup is something quite hard, because you're trying to
Hmm.
educate someone, and like if you don't provide the value for the money they pay you, I think like it fails. But so always be careful when building edutech startup. Build a
Yeah.
community at first. Like, start small, go big. In the community, learn what you want. So,
Yeah.
and also one thing I would say is that like try not to make false promises, because many edtech
Hmm.
companies, what I've seen, like when observing them, many of them they end up making false promises. As I mentioned, the Wolf Group example,
Yep.
your kid can build a rocket by the age of 13. Your kid can become a millionaire software
Yep.
engineer employee at Google. Do
Yeah.
not do that. Tell them like what you want to teach, what they want to teach you. Just do that.
Yep.
So I would say, yeah,
uh,
edtech startup should be careful, because it's a very risky industry,
yeah.
because education is something important, and like when you mess it up, it's it's not, people are not gonna be happy.
Yep.
So here
Mm,
they need to understand what the user want.
got it. Last question of this podcast, Amrit. I didn't take much of your time on that end. What do you think the
Oh,
people,
good.
or like, yeah, so like any student who just get into college, and he didn't know anything, even though because in India also tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 college stuff is going on, the kind of mess. And people and students think that if I am from very low tier, I will not, like, I am not eligible to get any job. I will only get a like a maybe a less pay salary kind of thing. What your thoughts over it? A student just get into a college, and what he or she wants to do to get started with anything, it doesn't matter. I just want to ask from you, even though you know the American culture better better than me, because you are living there. So like what you experience, and maybe Indian American, I'm just comparison between Indian and American culture, and just to show some lights over that, those who are joining in the college, or you can say newcomers in college. And even also I wanted to you talk about some exploration stuff also. It's exploration till the final year is also good, or just wait for 1 year and then start doing some stuff on that end? What are your thoughts over that? Yeah.
Sure. So about exploration, I'm not sure how it works in India, but in the US, we have this called undecided or exploratory, which means so 1 year you have not decided your major, you're not decided what you want to study, and after, so it's basically you're a freshman, sophomore, junior, senior. It's basically like first year, second year, third year. So once
Yeah.
you complete your freshman, by sophomore you have to decide what you want to major on, and
Yeah.
that's how it goes on.
Yeah.
And it's very important, like, you decide early on like what you want to work on, because by the time you graduate, like, you can like have a portfolio project. So one thing I tell people is that when you get into college, build a portfolio projects, because your resume, it talks about you.
Yeah.
But what if you build something and that speaks more about you? Because for me, I always believed in building more projects, because I do not want to be validated by my resume. I do not want to
Yeah.
be validated by a piece of paper. I want to be validated by the projects that I build. My resume is
Yeah.
important, but my
Yeah.
projects validate what I actually, basically, is my knowledge being um, converted into like some in practice. And about the tier one, tier two, tier three college, I know many people who are not so good colleges, as in like a, college that are not so famous. They've gone and cracked big roles at big startups, and they're doing
Hmm.
well. Because, so one advice that I would give to everyone, irrespective of which country you are, if you're in CS, build a portfolio projects. Like, keep
Hmm.
on working on that, because by the time you graduate, if people look at what you built, they're going to be interested. And also, like, try to document that. Like, write a blog post, document that on the platform Twitter. People think it's a
Yep.
social media platform and like sharing memes,
Yeah.
but if you take a look in the terms of startup, it's very helpful. I think that's also made Karthik, because I'm pretty sure if I did not use social media, if I was not documenting, I would not met
Yeah.
this guy. And so, and I've seen many stories where someone has actually tweeted like put threads about his projects, and some big
Yep.
startup, big company actually hired them. There are many
Yeah.
cases of that, and they don't go to any good colleges. Like, they don't go to BITS, they don't go to IIT. They
Yeah.
literally, like, so build projects, document that, try to build your network connection, like, build your
Yep.
connection. That's very, very important. Like, more people you know, it's going to help you out. Because, for example, if you know someone who's at Microsoft, they can refer
Yeah.
you for a role over there. Like, so
Yeah.
I think that's important.
Yeah, that's
Anything?
also I want. Yep. So
Yeah,
like
go ahead.
yeah, that's I also wanted to share with others also. Twitter is a powerful app if you use it in a better way. People think that it's like a very hated kind of app. No, do follow good people. Your feed will convert on that. And like my total feed is around tech community, startups, developers, you can say, around that. So it's not like if you want hate, you will get hate. Simple is like that. If you want a good vibe, or you get good vibe from the Twitter. That's the whole scene of Twitter. And if you start documenting yourself, that's the I see many people are like personal brand is really really important. If you want to stand out, personal brand is required. Amrit has another personal brand. I have somewhat say I can say I have some personal brand over it. So it totally depend on the personal branding. That's why people recognize you. Your work will your work speaks for yourself. Simple is like that. So that's the whole thing that why I want to add. And again, I'm thanking Amrit for taking your time for me to record this podcast. Thanks, Amrit. We can do another more podcast over it. I just want to extract your all the knowledge to share with other folks so that they can get started with it. And yeah, thanks folks for joining. All the links of the Amrit project I will pull down in the description box. You can check them out. Do follow on all the links of the social media handle of Amrit. I will pull down in the description box. You can check them out. And let's see you in the next podcast. See you folks. Bye bye. Bye bye.
Thanks for having me. Enjoy.